doing fine. It's a living life.
Namaste friends, and welcome back to The Way Om Yoga. My name is Sarah, and today I'm going to be your instructor for this yoga fusion class. So today we're going to be incorporating some light handheld weights, which I have here. So I have about some 3-pound dumbbells, but of course you can go lighter on your weights. You can use no weight at all if you still want to participate in this class. I'll show you some ways to modify and still find that contraction in the muscles. But I thought today it would be fun to incorporate some light weights into our practice, okay? Some other props that you may find suitable for the end of class. We're gonna do a very passive heart chest opener to close off our practice. So if you have a set of blocks like I have here, that may be helpful, or a bolster cushion, a pillow, maybe a stack of blankets, that would do you just fine as well. So have that also available and at the ready for the latter half of class, okay? As you're gathering your things, let's just go ahead and draw our attention inward here, and we're gonna go ahead and just get right into it, okay? Of course, child's pose is always available to you at any point in the practice, and just before we get going, I'm just gonna briefly demonstrate what that looks like. So this is child's pose, this is your home base. So if you ever need to come back to your breath, if you need to take a break from the weights, take that pose, okay? And just jump back in whenever you're ready. But for today's class, we're gonna get right into it with some sun salutations. So go ahead and grab your weights. And for my friends not using weights today for whatever reason, I want you to go ahead and create a fist and find that contraction in the muscles as if you're holding an imaginary weight in your palm, okay? So from Tadasana, mountain pose, let's go ahead and get some sun salutations to get us going. So on your next inhalation, let's go ahead and sweep both arms up and overhead. Good. Exhale. Let's bring those weights together as we start to hinge forward from the waist, coming into forward fold. Notice that my knees are bent here. On our next inhalation, for our halfway lift, we're simply just going to lift those weights off the mat. Spine is nice and long. Beautiful. Exhale. Set those weights just in front of you for a moment. We're going to come back into our first downward facing dog. Okay, so first downward facing dog of the class. Any degree of movement here if you want to pedal out the feet. Yeah, just take a moment here, getting acquainted with this posture. Now from here, friends, we will take one vinyasa here. So on your next inhalation, let's go ahead and start to hinge forward. Exhale, you can lower halfway, taking upward facing dog, maybe lowering all the way down, coming into cobra, whatever you prefer. And then as you exhale, let's go ahead and come back into downward facing dog. Gorgeous. Now from here, we're gonna add on, friends, on your next inhalation, that right leg will come up and back behind you for three-legged dog. And while we're here, let's go ahead and just get a gentle stretch for the hips. Let's come into down dog with the twist, with that right foot going in the direction towards the left wall. Beautiful. Now from here, on your next inhale, that leg comes up and back. Exhale, we'll step the right foot forward, coming into a low lunge, okay? Get your setup here, get your balance, get established. And we're gonna grab those weights again, okay? So from here, on our next inhalation, what I'm gonna have you do is some presses. So as we inhale, we'll bring those arms up and overhead. And then on the exhale, I'm gonna turn this way so you can see me. We're gonna create kind of like a cactus arm here on the exhale, okay? So inhale together. Exhale, we'll bring those arms out wide, getting into the arms, getting into the chest. Inhale and exhale and inhale, gorgeous. Exhale and inhale and exhale. Let's go for two more. Inhale and exhale and inhale and exhale. Set those weights in the front of the mat. We'll get the other side here in just a second, and we'll transition back into downward facing dog. Good. And again, you can do this without weights, okay? And child's pose is always available there for you if you need it. Okay, on your next inhalation, that left leg comes up and back behind us for three-legged dog. Exhale, let's take this over into a twist once again. Good. Coming back to your breath on your next inhale. And exhale. Beautiful. On your next inhalation, it's three-legged dog. Exhale, we'll step the left foot forward between the hands. You know where we're headed, so get your establishment, get your setup. We'll grab onto those weights here. On your next inhalation, let's reach those arms up and overhead, nice, strong, and supported. Exhale, we'll bring the arms out wide. Inhale. And exhale. And inhale. And exhale. 2 more. Inhale. Exhale. And inhale. Exhale. Well done. Let's go ahead and bring those weights just to the front of the longer edge of the mat. We're gonna grab those in just a second, but let's make our way back into downward facing dog one more time. Once again, just taking a moment, taking whatever you need here. Beautiful. We're gonna add on, friends. So on your next inhalation, that right leg will come up and back once again. This time as you exhale, we're gonna just simply step the right foot forward, coming into warrior 2. So go ahead and grab those weights before you come up. We'll bring them together here at heart center to begin. So my right foot is forward, it's bent at about 90 degrees. My left foot is fully extended. I'm pressing through the outer edge of my back foot. And then from here, I'm gonna bring my arms out wide with or without the weights, palms turned up. And then from here, we're gonna move dynamically. So on the inhale, we'll reach those arms up and overhead, straightening that front leg. And then exhale, rebend. Good, inhale. And exhale. And inhale. And exhale. 2 more, inhale. And exhale. And inhale, last time. Exhale, fabulous. Now from here, we're gonna come into extended side angle pose. So we're gonna bring that right forearm down with the weight still in our hand. And then we're simply gonna reach up with that opposite hand up and overhead. So now getting into the oblique region here as well. So let's move dynamically. This is the inhale, or rather, you know what, let's go inhale. We'll come into peaceful warrior. And exhale. Good. And inhale, reaching up and over. Using the strength of the oblique, and exhale, strong and controlled warrior, and inhale, reaches you up, and exhale. Let's go for 2 more, inhale, and exhale. Last time, friends, inhale, you're doing great, everyone, and exhale. Beautiful. Let's go ahead and sit up nice and tall here. We'll bring those weights together, and rather than having you go through the vinyasa, we're simply going to turn and just get the opposite side, okay? You're welcome. So from here, let's go ahead and get our warrior 2 firmly established with the opposite foot forward this time. Nice and strong and sturdy here, okay? And once again, let's bring those arms out wide, palms facing up, again, with or without weights, okay? On your next inhale, let's straighten everything up. Exhale, rebend, and inhale, and exhale, and inhale, and exhale. 2 more, inhale, nice and strong, and exhale, and inhale, and exhale. Well done. Let's come into extended side angle pose once again. Left forearm comes down, the opposite arm comes up and overhead. And then let's take this into peaceful warrior, reverse warrior on the inhale. And exhale. It's extended side angle pose. And again, utilizing the strength of the side of the core here, getting into the oblique, strong and controlled. Good. And inhale. And exhale. Good. 2 more, friends. Inhale. And exhale. And inhale. Last one. And exhale. Extended side angle pose, beautiful. Let's come up to upright, bringing those weights together. Okay, you could take a minute here, friends. I'm gonna go ahead and just briefly demonstrate what we're gonna get into next, which is goddess pose variation, but we're gonna add the triceps onto it. So go ahead and watch me first, and then we'll do it all together, okay? So from here, I'm gonna come into goddess pose here. My toes are turned out, my feet are about a little wider than hip distance apart here, and I'm gonna bring my weights together like this. If you're not taking weights, bring your hands in prayer, and you can still do this action like so, okay? But if you have the weights, let's go ahead and bring those arms back behind us, up and overhead. So this is the inhale. Exhale, we'll bend and come down through the center. Inhale, we'll come up. Exhale, we'll take it over towards the side here. Good. Inhale, and exhale down the middle, and inhale, and exhale off to the side, okay? So if you're ready for that, let's go ahead and get our setup here, coming into goddess pose, and let's get into it. So from here, starting on the inhale, we'll bring the weights together, arms come back behind us. This is the inhale, friends. Exhale, let's go ahead and bend and come down through center. Good, and inhale. Exhale off to the side. Just a different way to target the triceps. Inhale, and exhale. Inhale, exhale off to the side. Inhale, let's come back down the middle. And inhale, off to the side. Inhale, down the middle. Inhale, off to the side once again. And then from here, let's go ahead and just come back through center. We'll pulse for 5. So 1 and 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, let's come up to standing. You can kiss those weights goodbye. You will not need them anymore for the remainder of class. Well done, everybody. All right, let's come into prasarita. So on your next inhale, let's bring those arms out wide, legs come out wide. Yeah, and let's just simply fold over the legs. Take a moment here, friends, take a beat. Allowing the head and neck simply just to hang heavy. I'm definitely sweating. Come back to your breath, come back to your intention for creating strength in the body. Well done, everyone. Okay. From here, friends, let's go ahead and, let's go ahead and just roll up to standing from here. Okay. And then we'll walk our stance together. Let's go ahead and come to kneeling on the yoga mat. I'm gonna guide you through what I'm calling like a wrist tamer. So this is really good if you're working on arm balances, inversions, chaturanga, even down dog, where we're putting a lot of weight and distribution onto the wrist. So what I'm gonna have you do, friends, is just turn your palms forward, so facing the front of the wall here. And the heel of the hand doesn't necessarily need to come all the way down onto the mat. Mine certainly doesn't, but I want you to find a little bit of this stretch here for the wrist, for the forearm, for the extensors, all that deep connective tissue in there. And again, you can control the range of motion. So for less, lean back a little bit. For a little bit more, you can lean forward, okay? So just always listen to your body, okay? You never have to do it exactly how I'm doing it. This is really great too if you spend a lot of time like on a computer or if you've been on your phone a lot. This is just a lovely way to release any tension or stress in the wrist region, okay? All right, now from here, we're gonna take this a little bit differently. So I'm gonna have you face your palms now this way, and we're gonna bend through the elbows. I'll show you right here. So palms are gonna be facing one another this way. And then I'm gonna just simply, you can bend through the elbows here. I like to keep my arms a little bit extended. And again, just getting into that forearm region, getting into the wrist. If you wanna sway a little bit side to side, that's fine too. Good. Excellent work today, everybody. All right. Now we're gonna get a little bit into the upper back with thread the needle pose, okay? So coming into tabletop position, what I'll have you do first is start with that right arm up and away, and then as you exhale, let's thread that right arm under the body. Yeah, resting on the right side temple here. Now that left arm can be extended out in front of you, maybe up on fingertips for leverage and support. Some of you may be able to reach and bind by grabbing onto the top of the right thigh, okay? So whatever makes sense for you. You're definitely warmed up here, but just take whatever feels appropriate here for thread the needle pose. We'll take this opportunity just to release the upper back. It's also a nice way to get a gentle twist in the lower belly as well. Breath is still nice and deep and even. All right, friends, from here we'll gently make our way back to seated, using our hands for support. I like to just bring that right arm up and away again, set it back down just to keep things even. So on your next inhale, that left arm comes up and away. Exhale, let's thread it through, resting on the left temple this time. And again, same options as far as the hand, arm placement goes. Just take whatever feels appropriate, friends, okay? Just knowing you always have options in my class. All right, friends, once again, let's make our way back up to a seated position. I've got one more posture for you as promised before we go. So I'm going to show you two ways that you can come into this. So if you have a cushion, or let's say you have like a stack of blankets, maybe a pillow, I want you to place that directly underneath your spine. And what I'm going to have you do is just lie down over the prop. And we're gonna allow the heart and chest to come open. Notice that the anterior deltoid, basically just the front of the shoulder, is just passive, relaxed. It's heavy, it's sinking into the prop. And we're just getting this nice gentle release for the front of the chest, okay? I bring my feet out into like a bound angle, soles of the feet together, but you can leave the legs extended, or if it's more comfortable for you to keep the knees bent, you can do that as well, okay? So that's one way to approach it. Another way that I really like, if you have a set of yoga blocks, you're gonna place one underneath the back of the head and one's gonna go underneath the shoulder blades, okay? So, and what's beautiful about using the yoga blocks is that you can adjust the different heights accordingly, okay? But I'm just gonna show you really briefly how I come into this one. So one block is gonna go directly underneath my shoulder blades, and then the other is gonna go at the back of my head. And it takes a little bit of adjustment when you're first coming into this to get it right. You wanna make sure you're not like teetering on the block, but you can fully distribute your weight comfortably. So just play around with that setup, and we'll just take this for a few cycles of breath here together, friends. Again, allowing the heart and the chest to come open, allowing those arms to come out directly beside us, palms facing up. And a gesture of receiving this much needed rest, this much needed release. Feeling fully supported by the props, but the earth beneath you. Allowing the breath to become more even, more deep, more supportive. And from here, friends, I want to invite you to stay in this configuration for as long as needed. If you want to take Shavasana this way, or maybe a guided meditation from this place, you are perfectly primed and ready to do so. But I want to close off this practice with you, especially if this is all the time that you have today. And as always, friends, thank you so much for joining me here on The Way Om. I'm just the facilitator, right? I'm just the teacher, but it is really you guys, the viewer, the practitioner at home, that brings the magic, that brings the energy, that brings this empowerment into this collective space. And I truly could not do it without you. So thank you for being here. Thank you for co-creating with me. And I hope you feel stronger and more fit in your body, more at ease. And I cannot wait to see you in the next video. Namaste, friends.